Good morning, everyone. James, thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks so much for having me, Brittany.
Welcome to Eye Openers. If you are with us, I hope that you are going to grab your favorite thing to drink in the morning that definitely opens up your eyes. Okay, you've got your Diet Coke and
Coke Zero.
Coke
Male
Zero.
version of Diet Coke.
I know that is like a very particular thing for people, and I'm not well versed in the Coke world. So maybe you could talk with us a bit about why this is your eye opener of choice.
Oh gosh. I only drink coffee when I'm trying to impress people, and
So
Coke.
you're not trying to impress me?
No, this is a casual, coffee meeting setting. So, yeah, so fascinating though. Truly a great marketing branding story. The Coke, Diet Coke. They found out men didn't like drinking Diet Coke for whatever reason, and
because men don't want to be on a diet.
They want to be on a diet. Yeah, they want zero cal. It's like a little bit harsher, black can, slicker. I say on the right side of the spectrum. Really interesting, but.
Tell me about that left and right side thing. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, so I have an exercise that I go through with clients to develop brand story, brand strategy on a visual spectrum. On the left side is warm, friendly, inviting. Those are the pros of being on the left side. And the cons are cute, cuddly, unprofessional. And then on the right side, there's cool, slick, sexy, high tech. And then the cons are cold, uninviting, unapproachable.
Okay.
You live somewhere on the spectrum. Almost everybody wants to be a 5. They want to be in the middle. And we try to really push them to be on one side or the other. And really interesting, like Life is Good is a good example of a 1. I think their tagline is Gone Fishing. It's like stick figures and handwritten stuff. Ben and Jerry's great example. 1. 10, Uber. They've openly said if they didn't have to have people, they wouldn't. So they're like glassy, high tech, little tiny words.
Got it.
Yeah.
Cool. I like that approach. Well, for those of you not into Coke Zero or any of that, I am drinking coffee from Bolt. Do you know Bolt?
Oh, I love Bolt. Yeah.
Yeah. So these are local guys in Rhode Island. For those of you who aren't in Rhode Island, well, you should come visit us with a mask when it's allowed. But I just love the taste of their coffee, and they're so accessible. They're like the owners are there sometimes, and I love it. And I have their subscription service, and I always get a handwritten card when I open up the box. And there's usually like a little drawing actually too. There's like some little, and my kids love it. They're like, oh, what's this? And
you can automate that these days, but I think they do it.
I think they're doing it as well. I've seen that, like those send out cards and whatnot, but I don't know. I feel like this is the real deal, and it speaks to me.
Yeah, it worked.
Effective. Yeah, it works. I'm still buying, and we're talking about it right now. So I didn't give you a proper introduction. So for those of you guys who don't know James Kwon is the founder and CEO of Figmints Digital Creative Marketing, a multi-7-figure full stack marketing agency of 20 plus amazing people. I want to hear more about them in a minute. They help companies go digital through brand storytelling, interactive solutions, and growth marketing strategies. But super interesting fact, James has started 9 companies. Let's start there.
Sure. Started 9, 4 of them have failed, completely zeroed and are terrible, and we kicked them out.
I love that you're talking about that. Nobody talks about that.
Oh yeah. I mean, you have to, you're going to fail. And so I think the adage fail fast is absolutely true. And especially this year has been the Cambrian explosion of ideas and stuff that we want to practice. Like we have so much more time to do that. So I've been testing stuff constantly and trying to launch them out into space and see if they're going to work or people like them. And it's been really fun. But yeah, 9 companies. A couple of them have been just all of them have been really fun. A few of them just not a ton of disasters. I learned a lot, and even in the failures, there's a really good reasons why they didn't work, and and 2 or 3 of them are doing really well.
Cool.
Yep.
All in the marketing space, or
all in professional services, technology, software, SaaS, stuff that we can build quickly and get out there.
Cool. Yeah. And when do you decide, okay, this is a failure, stop? Do you have something you're looking for, a metric or?
Money's good. Money's a good metric, but I like what I found out. This is a key component that we need a champion to actually be behind these companies, and someone to lead the team, someone to catch the vision, run with it. And the ones with champions are mostly still going. Early on when I'd have a crazy idea, we'd launch it out, and then they would just sit there, and then nothing would happen because I was busy doing Figmints and kind of the agency running the company and things like that. So the ideas wouldn't see the light of day, unfortunately.
Okay. Yeah. So if you're not the champion, who is, and how do you find a champion?
Oh gosh. Easily some of the hardest hires that we've ever made have been champions. And these champions are usually entrepreneurs in their own right. They've, one was a previous client of ours. We had a similar sort of vision for a software product. We joined forces, and he's since we've parted ways, and he's taken the company. I think they have 30, 40 employees now, doing very well. A couple of them have been internal interns that we've tried to train up, and they've done really well and are doing their own thing now. But you need somebody who really cares about the vision, the mission, of what you're trying to do. And they're hard. They're either going to be employees or entrepreneurs, and it's tough to find someone kind of in the middle.
Right. And so when you're trying to hire for that position, right, because ultimately this champion needs to be in charge of leading that business. Tell us a little bit about your process. I know you have like a penchant for hiring. So tell me a little bit about what you guys do or how you approach hiring that makes you different.
Yeah, thanks for teeing that up, Brittany. So one of the crazy ideas that we have recently is trying to scale hiring. And for one of our other companies, smaller subsidiaries, we thought we can hire an internal kind of sales force. And I went through this exercise to try to bring on maybe 5 or 10 salespeople, and kind of was astounded at the way the technology could be set up today, so that we can streamline those efforts. And took something that usually takes maybe, I don't know, a dozen hours per one person that you want to hire. It took me maybe 3 to 5 hours to get review 500 applications, review 100 interviews, send out 20 offers, and sign up 10 people. So I did that in about 3 to 5 hours. So kind of a completely.
So that's incredible. Like that's just incredible.
Yeah,
I'm so glad that you're talking about it and you had the numbers to share. So you got to this place, right? Because you guys had probably managed some struggles in this before. Now, whether it's in this scaled approach to hiring or whether you're like looking for that champion, what are like the 1 or 2 things that you guys look for or that you think you do differently than other people when it comes to hiring?
Oh, sure. There is a great book by Patrick Lencioni called Ideal Team Player. Really good. He talks about the 3 kind of key components, which I'm trying to remember now. But they are, it follows kind of similarly to the GWC, gets it, wants it, has the capacity to do it. But it is humble, hungry, and smart. So people who don't think too highly of themselves, people who are gritty, can roll their sleeves and do it, and people who are smart isn't necessarily intellectual IQ, but more like knowing how awareness, almost like EQ. And really beautiful the way he kind of describes humble, hungry, smart, the combinations of those. There's a tactical politician or something like that. If you're hungry and smart but not humble, and you're a bull in a china shop if you're hungry but not smart. And so really, really kind of cool makeup there. So I think the book kind of starts with core values, and so I'm a big proponent of understanding what your core values are. What are the things that are non-negotiables in your company? And at Figmints, oh gosh, I'm going to try to do this. We have 6 core values, which is hospitality, empathy, impact, grit, accountability, let your yes be your yes, your no be your no, and then something we call OGR, which is really unique for us: own it, grieve it, redeem it, because you're not going to get it right every time. So when you get it wrong, own your mistakes, grieve, important step, and then redeem your mistakes.
I love that. You're like giving them permission to try something new and to have it not go well and to have that be okay. And there's a process for working through it, not getting stuck.
Yeah.
Awesome. We have a question from our friend Joe who's watching. So he's trying to type you, which are you familiar with MBTI assessment, personality?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's Joe's jam. He is he guessed mine the first time. So he thinks you're an ESTP, but wondering what company is doing marketing wrong right now and how would you fix it for them? So give us a little public case study on the spot.
On the spot. What company is doing it wrong? The United States government is marketing and communicating pretty poorly these days.
Sorry. So, you took that one. That was an easy one. Okay. Well, how would you fix it? How would you fix it?
How would I fix it? Gosh, like it or don't, Obama's administration was incredible at communicating. And they had this incredible agency. I always forget their name. It's some acronym, but they're in Chicago, and they did the Hope campaign and the logo and the branding. But what people don't see is the infrastructure that they help build in the back end. Amazing websites, amazing directories. They really ushered in, reestablished kind of a proper way to set up information for something so vast. And so we got to do the City of Providence website. So if you're in the City of Providence, you're welcome. And I'm sorry especially if you have to pay a ticket or anything like that. But that was a similar kind of struggle, right? It was there's just so much information that you have to organize and aggregate and show in a way that people can actually experience it well. We did the City of Fall River. So if you're in Fall River also, you're welcome and thank you. Sorry.
Great. Thanks for playing that game. That was fun. So what were early mistakes that you made as a leader that now you know better?
Such a good question. This is one of my favorite lessons to talk about. And it goes back to the hiring. Something that I learned about myself that was really, really important is I thrive on efficiency. I love efficiency. I'm the typical guy. If I go shopping, I need to bring all the groceries back in one trip. I love setting up technology. So there's automation. We've been a HubSpot agency forever. And so automation is like, I'm a big fan of this triggers this thing. Then automatically you get these notes and you do this. And when I started hiring a staff, 3 to 5 to 10 people, they say it is hard every time you double. So 2 was hard, 4 was hard, 8 was hard. So right at between 4 and 8, I tried to set up automation, and employees got really frustrated by that. And I realized that loving people is designed to be inefficient. You cannot love people efficiently. You can't save time loving people. My wife would attest. Like she wants me. She wants my time. She wants to waste time with me. And so when I learned that, and it's so
not
biblical.
Spend time with you. It's got to be waste time.
She wants to. Well, like. Yes.
She's lovely. For those of you who don't know her, I don't know if you'd agree with this segment.
She's amazing. Incredible. So I lost train of thought. So
4 to 8.
Loving people. Yeah. So it's so important and even biblical that the way that love, is designed, loving people is designed. And when I realized that, I had a complete shift in the way that I manage and lead people, that necessitating one-on-ones with people, meeting them frequently, often, needing to hear them out, even when not interrupt them when I know where they're going with it and I know what they're going to say, and pause and listen and spend time and just catch up and learn about them. That really changed the way that I lead as a leader. Great book around that is Leaders Eat Last by Simon Sinek. Really good.
Mm-hmm. You are totally speaking my language. Like, this stuff makes my heart sing. I talk about having how are you meetings for leaders. And it's
So good.
really tough for them to implement that because it's like
Yeah.
so just the other side of your brain. So like when you talk about left to right, I use that as far as the way that we process information and the way we need to show up for people. And there's a place for efficiency and there's a place for compassionate leadership and empathy and really just looking at your people as people. And that's how you can kind of pull out that individual champion in each one of them. And
That's
then be the overarching champion for that brand or that business, right? But they can be in their own specific way where they have a unique skill set or offering for the business.
Oh yeah. And it seems so silly when you tell CEOs or entrepreneurs, you're like, just do more one-on-ones. And you're like, I don't need to do more one. We have a company meeting or we have several company meetings. I see them all the time. Those were my objections. And it's so valuable. It's so different getting to speak with them. We've had, oh gosh, our turnover rate used to be very high. Now it's very, very low. We've had almost none.
Amazing. Yep. Amazing. And how many years, has it?
Probably 3 or 4.
Wow. Yeah. That's great. I'm so glad you're measuring that too, as like a numbers and efficiency person. Talk about efficiency. Like even if you got it down to 5 hours of this like hiring process, that doesn't count the onboarding and the training and getting somebody up to speed, right? Turnover is so expensive and people really underestimate this. And it's way less time consuming to add that one-on-one, add that, extra card, send it, hey, I noticed what you did for us this quarter, or just, any way that you can recognize people and just see them for who they are in that moment is totally way less time consuming than the other end of that.
Yeah. And we're learning that right now in this automated, expedited hiring process that we're developing, that it can't be completely automated. People were dropping out in the beginning saying, I don't get to talk to you at all, or I don't get to talk to any person. So we started to add in those elements, calls, and then follow-ups, and trying to keep it efficient but personal.
Yeah. Completely. Yeah, there's so many like stories in there, and I'm going to bring us back to you because I know people are loving hearing from this. I love Tim's joining us again. Thanks, Tim, for being here, commenting on the MBTI stuff. That maybe I should bring Joe on and have him talk about this sometime. People are into this lately, and it'd be interesting to think about putting an assessment like that into hiring and what that might look like. I know Joe has more to talk about in that.
Yeah, we've tried a couple of those in the past. DISC is one of the most popular ones.
Yeah.
PDP, PI, they're all really interesting because it feels like the same dozen questions that they ask over and over and over again, and at the end you're like, oh, it's a little horoscopy, but when you look into the science of it, really, really interesting. Clifton Strengths Assessments is one of my favorite ones too.
Yep.
Having gone through Leadership Rhode Island, they're big proponents of it, and I do like the idea of sticking to your strengths and leaning into those instead of trying to fix all the broken parts of other areas of your life.
Right. I talk about like reinforce your strengths and hire out your weaknesses.
That's right.
And that, if we're talking about efficiency, that's probably the most efficient way to manage that in your business. Totally. I want to ask you now, what is your greatest opportunity or challenge that's in front of you or in front of Figmints, like in 2021 or the next quarter?
Yeah, really good question. I'll answer big picture and then little picture. The little picture, just a quick note to all entrepreneurs out there, all business owners, especially small business owners who aren't thinking about recurring revenue. You should absolutely be thinking about recurring revenue. We play the great game of business at Figmints. I don't know if you've heard of it. Really good Jack Stack. Talks about business as a winnable game. And we had one metric that the whole company was playing around. It was revenue last year. And so 2020. And they did an unbelievable job, especially during a crazy year, helped drive revenue, and every department did that. But this year, our one metric that we're going after is monthly recurring revenue. So if you can have monthly recurring revenue, take care of your operational budget, then you're basically, everything else is gravy and you're continuing to grow. And so that's our big goal, but it is a practical one. The other opportunities right now for myself is I'm an ideas person that always has a billion ideas every day. And so trying to focus on the ones that are going to be the most successful is always something that I'm struggling with. And this hiring program is so exciting, and I can't contain the excitement around it. But we need a champion, and so trying to bring on the champion, train that person, have them walk through the process and walk alongside with me together to see it to fruition. So those are the two big things that we're working on. Yeah.
James, how could people find you to talk about, like, if they had questions about your hiring process, or want to get in touch with you?
Yeah, if you can see the name, I don't know if it shows up for
everybody. It is.
But James at figmints.com. That's my email address. But figmints.com, check it out. It's fig like the fruit, mints like the candy.com, mints.com. And basically, we're like Figmints at everything, like Twitter and Facebook and wherever. But James at Figmints, I usually try to clear my email. I do a terrible job of clearing my email, but I try to clear it all the time, and I'm looking at it all the time. So you can email me.
Awesome. Love it. Well, thank you so much for being here today. I know our audience enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. You have such an interesting perspective and awesome vision for things. So thanks for sharing that with my community.
Such a pleasure. Thank you so much, Brittany. And thank you, everybody. Have a great new year.
All right. See you guys.